guys, I hope that everybody's doing okay. I just wanted to pop in really quick and give you guys a few scriptures and just a few thoughts like I usually do. I hope that everybody's doing good, by the way. So I'm going to read Numbers chapter 13 verse 30 for now. And we might elaborate on that, but let me read that one first. Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, "We should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it." I'm going to give a little bit of context because in this in chapter 13 and chapter 14 of Numbers, this was when Moses was about to go ahead and he was about to be taken by the Lord. He was about to die. And Joshua was fixing to take over his position and lead the people into the promised land. So it was Joshua and it was Caleb. Joshua and Caleb. And so Joshua and Caleb went to the land to scope it out before they went into the promised land to see about the people and about the culture and about the things. And so him and Joshua went, and they saw that the land was good. They were ready to go ahead and take the possession of it. But the problem was nobody else thought so. Nobody else believed that they could take possession of the land because they seen how powerful the people were. They seen the dynamics weren't good, yada, yada, yada. They were making up all of these different excuses as to why they didn't see why it was fit, but only Joshua and Caleb did. So God saw how Joshua and Caleb were so confident, and they saw past the obstacles, and they just believed in the Lord and had faith that he was going to be with them to take over the land. And so I'm thinking about a lot of different things in my life right now. I'm sure you guys can tell by my videos. I'm doing a lot of self-reflection, and I'm definitely on a healing journey, and I'm definitely on a journey of self-discovery and giving back to myself. And now that my children are getting a little bit older, I've got to discover what it is that I truly want out of life, and what it is that God is truly calling me towards, and the purposes that he's calling me towards. And I'm thinking, in our own lives, we need to do that. There are certain areas in our life that, yes, we need to sit around and wait and figure out what this and that is, and kind of give that to the Lord and have faith in that way. But there are some things in life that we also need to take possession of it. We need to move. If you're not happy in that job, if you feel like the job is sucking the living daylights out of you, believe me, I am at that point. And I'm thinking, I need to believe like Caleb did and like Joshua did, that I can go in and really look inside of myself and see what I'm truly passionate about. And I need to stop thinking what other people think about me and what other people are saying about me, and even the money aspect of it, the finances, because at the end of the day, when I look at what I make at this job on a daily basis, it's nothing compared to what I can be making, and compared to the world that I can explore, and compared to the skills that God has put inside of me. And so you've got to look at that as well. Look into your own life and your own situation and your own passions, and see what it is that you are passionate about, and see what it is that you truly want to be doing with your life. And as long as, of course, it's godly, and God has put that inside of you, and without a doubt that you have a unique spin on it, and that you look at other people in that profession and they're doing it, you know what I mean? And that God has put something on the inside of you to do it in such a way that's unique and purposeful to add to that. Why not take out on a limb? Pray about it, of course, but why not branch out? So that's what I'm doing this year. And in this moment, I am like, Lord, I see what my future can be like. And I know through dreams and confirmations and through your word what it is that you are calling me and telling me to do. But I have this fear inside of me because it's going to be scary. It's going to be risky. I don't know what's to expect. Of course, they're looking at the land like Caleb and Joshua were. They're looking at the land like, yeah, we can take possession of it. But I'm sure there was a point where they were like, well, what about the unexpected? But they weren't caring about the unexpected because they had faith in the Lord that he was going to get them through step by step by step. Who's to say that if you quit today, and I'm just using a job as an example, you quit today and tomorrow something wouldn't land in your lap for you to just walk into and step into your calling, just like they were on one side of the Jordan one day, on the other side. And then on the other side of the Jordan, they were in the promised land. Yes, they faced many obstacles and steps. It wasn't, they didn't take it over just like that. But they made that first step. They made that first move into the promised land. And God orchestrated it in such a way that it was step by step by step that they took it over. And God gave them the victory over and over and over. That wasn't to say that they didn't learn a few lessons along the way and they didn't take a few steps back here and there. But for the most part, they moved forward and they moved in faith and they were able to take over that promised land. And in the same way, and in our own lives, we have to look at it that way. Why do we, I look at my current situation and the job that I am in. I do not see myself doing this for the next 30 years. I cannot. I woke up today absolutely dreading coming here, because it sucks the living daylights out of me. Everyone ignores me. Everyone is disrespectful to me in this job. I get nowhere in this job. It's a dead end. It's a dead end for me, but I am truly grateful for the experience and what God has put me in, and it's absolutely taking care of my family in the moment. But I would be an absolute liar if I didn't tell you guys that this is not for me for the rest of my life, and I'm absolutely taking those steps and moving forward and planning and gaining momentum in that area of my life in order to move out, move away, while being grateful for what I have and what I get to do now, So I just want you guys to look at that. I want you guys to take a look at that. Let's see. I'm going to go skip to chapter 14 and verse 7. And said to the entire let's skip to verse 5 actually. Then Moses and Aaron fell face down in front of the whole Israelite assembly gathered there. Joshua son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh, I don't know how to pronounce that, Jephunneh, who were among those who had explored the land, tore their clothes and said to the entire Israelite assembly, the land we passed through and explored is exceedingly good. So they saw the good in the land. They saw that it was going to be way better than where they were at, They saw the good in the land. If the Lord is pleased with us, and he will lead us into that land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and will give it to us. Only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not be afraid of the people in the land, because we will swallow them up. Their protection is gone, but the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid of them. They knew they had the Lord on their side. They knew they were moving in the Lord's will. And that's another piece of the puzzle. You've got to make sure that this is the Lord's will in order for you to move forward and move swiftly and move smoothly into what God is calling you to do. You can't just go off of what you want to do. You've got to go in what the Lord wants you to do. You've got to know that this is what God is calling you to do. Be obedient to him. Don't fall back, and do not be afraid of the people and what's to come in your life. It says we will swallow them up. So in other words, we're going to overcome these people. We have the authority over them because we have who? The Lord. The Lord has told us that this is the land that we are going to have. We see that it is good and exceedingly abundant, and because it said it's going to have milk and honey. It's going to be flowing with milk and honey, right? So that means it's going to be abundant with milk and honey. It's going to have abundance in it. It's going to bring nothing but good to us. So as long as you know in your heart that this is what God has called you to do, it's what you wake up thinking about every day. It's what you can't stop doing every day. It's what you live and breathe, As long as you have the Lord's consent and with you, you're going to be exceedingly great. It's going to work out in your favor. So remember that and don't be afraid. Because at the end of the day, you think that people care about you and you think that people are worried about you. Most people care about themselves. Most people are worried about themselves. They may say something to you for a moment, or they may say something about you for a moment, but believe me, they're on to the next person or on to the next subject in that quick. So they really don't care, and it really doesn't matter, and you're sitting there letting these people hold you back, and you're letting these people cripple you. You cannot do that any longer. I'm speaking to myself. I am talking to myself. I cannot do that any longer. I have to move forward in the Lord and knowing what He has called me to do. And so in the same way, I am telling you guys, be prayerful and take the next step. Make the moves, make the plans, write them down on your paper and make them plain to the Lord. Okay? I love you guys. Have a good day. Bye.